So I'll try to go with the presentation. So let me know once you can see the screen. Just
Yes,
Simran, please let me know.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can see the
Yep.
screen. Thank
Yeah. And but from that, I need to thank everyone who've been like joining this meeting on this afternoon and spend time to know what is the career transition which has happened to me from engineering to a technical marketing engineer role or technical marketing engineer role. So so this is kind of like a career transition for me, which has been a journey how I transferred from my engineering and towards the journey to a technical marketing role. So as Simran say, I will describe how what all things and the challenges which has been faced through this journey and what all courses or what all kind of like activities which you can do from a pro coder to a semi coder kind of like job. So let's start. I'll have a small self introduction about myself and I will introduce about the technical marketing. What is a technical marketing role? And I will also say something about my team, what I'm doing as a technical marketing engineer. So what's our team mission and the vision? And also it would be like to know how we operate, so it will be giving an overall view from an engineering perspective, what is a technical marketing engineer, how basically technical marketing engineer operates. And finally come to the point, I will say how to be a technical marketing engineer, how to transit from your current career to a technical marketing engineer. Are you looking for the correct one or the correct path to be a technical marketing engineer? And finally we'll end up in conclusion, and if you have any questions I can answer for you. So yeah, let's begin. So it's about me. So as Simran saying that I've been currently working as a technical marketing engineer in ST Microelectronics Switzerland. So it's in Geneva. So I've been working in ST Microelectronic headquarters in Geneva. So I recently, it's about 5 months, I've changed my career from engineering to technical marketing. I'm the senior technical marketing engineer. So my profile and the designation is design and system IP technical marketing engineer. So I'll have a brief explanation of what that title means on later slides. But in background, I do have a 7 years of experience in purely coding and SOC design, mainly into hardware coding, as many of might be knowing. It's into SOC design, verification, and FPGA prototyping, and slightly into analog designing a bit, but not much. And towards my education background, as you know, TU Malaysia, it's one of the reputed universities in Singapore, which is mainly known as the NTU. So I graduated the Masters in Integrated Circuit from there. Okay. So introduction to technical marketing. So have you ever wondered like why is an engineer is required in a marketing? So typically everyone has got this stigma that like marketing guys, they're like typically marketing guys who be like dressed well and who will be only meant for sales, and they don't want any engineers in marketing. They just sell any product just like that. Whatever the product is, A, B, X, or Z, their only job is to sell. So have you seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street, in which Leonardo DiCaprio sell everything just like sell? So this won't work in a tech industry, because when it comes to a tech industry, it is more highly uh, sophisticated, and the technologies are very effortfully we need to handle it. So a normal marketing engineers cannot do that kind of like job. So there comes the set of engineers who be in a subset of or with engineer and a customer. So here comes an engineer who need to touch with the customer and to say the technical point of the product to the customer. So in normal marketing guys cannot do that kind of like role, because they are like they don't know what's the technicality of the product because don't have any engineering background. Their background will be like from a business school where like pure sales oriented or finance oriented people. But in order to deal the customers in the front end, there should be required an engineer. And not all engineers are willing to do, because there some engineers are only dedicated to do the product, but there are certain set of, as you can see, the subset of like intersection of like engineer and a customer. There's a small set of engineers which is definitely required in a high sophisticated and tech industries to handle the customer requirements and customer need, know the market from an engineering vision. So as I move on, I need to, I had some job requirement for the customer in technical marketing engineer. These are the job profile which is being looking for. What are the duties they used to handle in day to day. So main are like developing technical marketing materials and products, and monitoring the product performance and resolving errors. So technical marketing materials, if I need to conclude, it can be any technical marketing material. So from an engineering perspective, if you see from a semiconductor, it can be, if a product life cycle, if you know, it can be the digital design documentation, that set of test cases, or analog front-end documentation, all the set of documentation which is required to write the test and architecture. So the customer also need to know how the product is been made. So in order to convey what is being done in the engineering way, the engineers and the technical market engineers need to grab everything and understand everything from a product perspective and need to convey to the customer. And similarly, if the customer is facing any errors, you need to convey back to the engineering team from an engineering point of view. So that's the first point. And second is like delivering presentation and performing product demonstration. So when it comes to a product, if it is like a semiconductor board where we need to demonstrate certain amount of functionalities of the system, so we may need to connect the oscilloscope or anything which has got a display. I need to say that like this product is working as per the standards, and a lot of IEEE standards are there. We need to showcase them. This is what the thing, and our product is the best in the market. So that kind of thing only an engineer can do. But from a marketing guy, they only know how to sell. And the third point is like answering the client queries and provide technical support to the team. So as I already said, so you will end up in a lot of queries in a pure engineering thing. For example, if you look at analog to digital converter, maybe the customer saying that like why it is only 8-bit ADC or 10-bit ADC. So why there is no SAF block is not there, why this block is not there from, and they need to know the area, they need to know the power, they need to know the time constraints. So those who already worked as an engineer can only answer this, not anyone. And the documentation process and compiling the user manual. So one person and the engineer need to know which all document need to share with the clients, which all not to be shared with the clients. Basically, there's a barrier of confidentiality and need to be like split accordingly. And this only can be decided by the engineer. And contributing to market strategies and research market strengths and associated technologies. So this is basically where the fun part is, like this is known as market scouting, so known as market understanding. So we may need to look at the LinkedIn or need to know what other companies are doing, what other companies product are, where our product is in par with other companies marketing strategies or their products, or we are the top one. And we need to compare and we need to convince our customer we have the perfect product in the market. If not, then we need to say that we are lagging something in our product and we need to convey back to our engineers. This kind of like engineering bird's eye view to the market, which can be only done by a technical marketing engineer. So these are like few, there are like many, but these are the few roles of like engineer in a marketing. So that's why we have a technical marketing division. So as I move forward, I just need to have a classification of the technical marketing. One is known as the product marketing and one is known as the IP marketing. So what is a product? So basically a product is object or system that is tangible and tangible creation of human intellect. Basically we can touch and we can operate the system in a real time way, and you can touch and see. Example, our chipset, if there is a motherboard and set of chips, that's a product. You have a cell phone, iPhone or any phones, automobile, any automobile, it's a product. And that division is known as the product marketing, whereas there is one more division known as IP marketing. So any product or item that are intangible creation of human intellect. So there comes a clause. So intangible creation, it can be a code, it can be a set of code, it can be a verification environment which cannot be touched, it can be an architecture, it can be a set of drawings or an architecture block diagrams, and the technological files where we used to tell the technological files, they can implement the technology out of it. So these are not tangible. So there's a two set of like marketing where they both are, some are focusing on two different way. And if you look at the product marketing, there are like separate set of engineers who used to do demonstration in the real-time environment, and they used to sell the chips. And there are set of application engineers who can support the product marketing engineers. So if you look at the companies, they're like Intel or any Apple, they are like mostly product marketing. And if you look at the companies of IP marketing, they are like the companies like Cadence, Synopsys, and so they are the companies who used to sell IPs like verification IP and a design IP, the ARM architecture. So these are the companies getting revenue by selling mostly intangible things. So where ST stands, there are like certain companies who getting leverage of both. So in terms of my company, ST Microelectronics, it is 95%, it's a product based company. So we used to sell the chipset to our clients. It can be ADC, it can be MEMS, it can be any set of chips which is tangible and we is to sell. But in my company, there is a separate set of division, IP marketing. It's only 5% of the company's revenue, but we used to sell software codes, architectures, IPs, systems, and it is a separate division where we used to get the revenues. So it's a totally fun, but the product marketing, I would say it is more fun who would like to touch the things. But from here after, I would like to more focus on the IP marketing. So that's where I choose my career to be, because as you know, my previous career was more focused on the codings, architectures. So I know how the stuff, and which is more on the IP level and the SOC level. So that's why I more focused on the IP marketing. So hereafter, let's talk about a bit of like IP marketing. So I would like to showcase you IP business unit mission and vision. So this is our team, which is known as the IP business unit, basically known as the IP BU team in the ST. So our team vision is to we inspire trust and we leverage ST's IP for ST success. So if you know any hardware companies like ST, Infineon, I am talking about the semiconductor. Please pardon me if someone from other industries, but it is applicable to all industry. But yeah, if it is a semiconductor company, to create a product, they'll be like using a lot of IPs. So once the product timeline, when the product is released to the market, after few years, the product will be diminished from the market and it won't be used again. So the IPs which has been used to create the product, after it won't be that much sensitive. So we can reuse that IPs and you can sell to some other customers which they need that IP, and it won't create a competition because we are already at the front runners in the market. We already sold the product. So in that perspective, we can sell the IPs to any customer who they need. So in terms of ST, ST have got like thousands of IPs which has been still stacked down the IP archive, which has been not using or which is not part of the project. So in terms of like 3 years back old IP, 5 years old IP, we can use that IP, and we need to know what that IP is doing in the market. If any customers are interested in the market, and we can use and sell that IP and make a subsidiary profit for the company. And our team is like, we monitorize ST's IP to the third party in fulfillment with ST strategy, bringing complementary high margin revenue flow. So as I say, apart from the product division, so there's an IP division which will make you the complementary uh, money, similar like what Cadence, Synopsys, and ARM is doing. But for them, it's a main business. For us, it's a subsidiary business. And Infineon and Intel, many other companies has got this subsidiary IP division as well. So what we selling? So we are selling design and system IP. So design and system IP, design IP basically means small IPs where, like, if you say it can be an ADC, it can be a display port or anything which is been used in a SOC. So, and system IP is basically an entire SOC. If you see a big project of like MR sub G, or being like a one which is need to be for a cars automotive driving, so it required more like IP. So we have the set of like products in the design, individual IPs, as well as a big complex systems. So we used to outsource, and we used to sell them. So we used to, how we license is like, we used to license them as like white box as well as like black box. So white box is basically we are licensing everything to the customer, from the documentation, schematics, diagrams, and everything. What we have, we license everything, and they can reuse it. They can send to fab with a different technology, and they can manufacture it. For example, if you manufacture in 28 nanometer, they can report into 14 nanometer, and they can make the chip out of it. So the what IPs, it will show their demand to the market, and we can use it. And whereas the black box, where the customers don't have enough money to buy the chips or the IPs, we have another deal of like black box, where we can sell the partial of the IPs. Basically, what I mean is like the RTL codes, the verification codes will be encrypted, and they cannot like decrypt it. And if you see about the analog sides, analog design, the analog schematics will be removed, and only the layout will be provided, so that they can manufacture the things, and they cannot like reuse, and they cannot like play around the design. So it, both of them have different price ranges. So it's up to the market. But what I need to say is like, most of them is dealing with the white box, and the other revenue is coming from manufacturing technology IP. So here is what the fab IPs, basically, if you need to manufacture something in the fab, you need to have a set of document and set of files for the technology. So those who worked in the fab, they might be knowing that there's a technology which is being in the IP for fabs. So it can be any technology. So if some company need to acquire the 28 nanometer technology of ST, like 28 nanometer FDSOI, and they need to consult us, we can have a talk, and we used to sell to them. And this IPs comes with a lot of cost. It will be come to around 10 million, 20 million, and 30 million, because the fabs are cost, and these IPs are like pricey, and basically using for any technological libraries. Those who are investing in the fabs, they will usually used to buy this kind of technology. Rest, the partial incomes are coming from the patents and royalties. Basically, if someone is using our patents, then we used to extract the income, and the royalties are like, partially we are allocating the IPs for like few months, like 3 months of time, 4 months of time, where we can extract some royalty when they are reusing. So these are the revenue which is been coming to our division. And I just want to highlight like how we operate. So basically, it is applicable to both product marketing as well as IP marketing. And you yourself need to know that like where we as an engineer need to be applies most of in any of this point. So first is like prospecting. So prospecting, here there is like two divisions, as you can see that there is a customer and an IP. So customer is like what we are doing to the market, and IP is basically what we are doing within the company on this phase, prospecting phase. So when we are getting a deal, first phase is like prospecting. So first is like market monitoring and scout and engaging brokers to expand our reach. So there is like subset of broker companies where we can ask them, we have a set of IPs or a product, we can ask them publish it, advertise it, and let the market know what we have. So this is like more like scouting, what we call from the market standard. So just front runners. And meanwhile, what we are doing in our background is like identify ST's division IP and ST's product technology map. So meanwhile, we need to work what all things are, what all the IPs which we are gonna sell in ST. So we create a catalog of IPs where what we have. And second phase is known as the qualifying phase, where we will establish contact with the customer if someone is interested, and set up an NDA, basically non-disclosure agreement, need to be signed before sending any technical confidential document to the customer and technical documents, and access a business opportunity to have a first kind of like contact, need to know where they're going to use the product. And meanwhile, in the IP side, the company side, access the IP is licensable, and whether it's a sensitive IP, if it is sensitive IP, then we won't license it, and grab the technical marketing. So basically we need to have some screen sharing session where we need to showcase the simulation, where we need to show them the real-time layout. We may need to do some layout simulations, and all this set of like activities. We may need to show some tests, we need to show some documentation, and need to aware that we have something which has been real-time working in our environment. In terms of like product, they may need to go to the product, they need to take the product to the customer and show a real-time showcase of like how the product is being acting. So this is what the qualifying phase. And next is like negotiation. Before that, the qualifying phase is more crucial for the technical marketing engineer. So where we need to showcase our technical skills and need to make sure that the customer gets the technical points from our product. So hence by only they will convince that our product is more apt to them, or else they will go for some other technical marketing team of other companies. They can make the leverage out of it and they can sell their product. So it is very crucial. Once the qualifying product, we are moving to the negotiation. So here it's more like agreements and discussing about the price. We can negotiate the price. So if I would say like the product is like for 700K, and they can come to 600K US dollar or a 1 million, or like you can negotiate the price over there. And meanwhile, from an IP, negotiate internally with divisions on IP price, licensing, perimeters, and support all the availability. So we need to get the engineering team ready to deliver the IP. Finally, it's closing. Once the negotiation over, the deal is signed and the billing and recognition is done. Meanwhile, from the our side, from the company, we will enclose the package, we will encapsulate the package. All packaging includes, it might be design verification, design file, analog files, and everything as like a system package, and we'll deliver to the customer. After that, then maybe few supporting will be there. So this is what the life cycle of a technical marketing engineer, and it is applicable to product marketing also. So this is the main life cycle. So as you know, how the main question of this agenda is like how to become a technical marketing engineer. So there is nothing much there, but what I need to say is like there's a career path every companies which is been followed, which is as in the slide. It's a career path which I came to know, and it is applicable to most of the companies, and only the designation may vary, but the ladder climbing will be like more or like similar. So everyone after graduation, they will become like a junior engineer or an engineer one. After in few years, they will move to the initial path. They will end up in senior or a lead engineer. After a point, they need to choose whether we need to go to an individual path or like an individual contributor towards an engineering side or within a technical side, and to reach staff engineer, principal engineer, technical director until the technical VP, and or to choose a management side where we can be a manager, senior manager, director, and group VP, and maybe till CEO. So what I recommend will be for a technical marketing engineer, mostly how what I from my view when I search for views and when I talk to different technical marketing engineer before switching, mostly how they hire a technical marketing engineer is like one is from the junior level, where a fresh engineering graduate, they will only prefer the engineering graduate. No business graduates is been eligible for technical marketing, because as I said from my previous slide, it's purely engineering only. The soul of marketing is there, but it is 60 to 70% it is engineering, where you no need to code, but you need to understand the environment. And they used to hire from the junior level, and they will become a technical marketing engineer 1 and 2 and senior and many more. And the other path is like where I chose, that is basically be a senior engineer throughout your career, like which will get into like 5 to 6 years of your engineering career. You will become a senior or a lead. This designation can be varied from different company to company, so don't confuse. But what I mean to say is like 3 or 4 levels up from your junior level. So at that stage, you will have the knowledge of like the engineering stuff, what is happening in the semiconductor industry, what is happening in any other industry. And from that point, you can realize, okay, at the point you may need to choose whether I need to go to a technical marketing team or like a management team. But at this point, you can decide, okay, if you need to change the career, you can go to the technical marketing. So you need to know in the same company where is the technical marketing team. You can approach them or you can apply to the profile, and they can go for interview where you can showcase your engineering skill, what you and engrave from the past years, and you can be in a technical marketing engineering position. So this is what the overall. So you can enter in the mid, and you can proceed. So it is what I recommend. It's a very good thing. So you can enter in mid, being like a junior engineer. So and most of you here are already worked in that profile, and you might be a senior or a staff engineer, and it will be like kind of like perfect. And thing is like you need to convince, like you are more like a people oriented guy who can talk to people, and you have enough engineering skill to convince the people. So that kind of like certain soft skills also required to be a technical marketing engineer. So let's go for conclusion. If you see, there are like few perks of like technical marketing engineering is like it's a combination of both worlds, as an engineer, as a market analyst. So what I mean is like we are engineers. We have done our undergraduation. We are and done our masters, and from there we will think like, okay, I've done this much of years in engineering, and I don't want to be a marketing guy. But this is like a best of both worlds. If you like marketing and if you know how it is been a company's been acting from the bird's eye view, then it's a best of both worlds, and you can be a converging point. And the namesake like woman who code made me need to think, because it is purely based on engineering, and I don't want to take anyone from engineering to marketing, but don't think that it's a merging point of like both. You are an engineer by soul in this profile. Be the first man to understand the company's vision and the strategies. So as I say, we are the front runners, and we know where the market is been trending, not about only the company's vision, but also the market vision. For example, if you see right now, it's an automotive boom. It's happening basically due to electrification. So there are like n number of chips are making for automotive. So we will know where the technology of automotive is heading to, and we will know what all the chips are making. For example, the silicon carbides, gallium nitride, with the high end power electronics chips are made. So from the company's vision to the lower end engineer to know the vision, it will take some time. So as a technical marketing engineer, you are the front runners and you will know, okay, this is where we are heading towards the next years. So it will be fun to know and to know the market strategies and vision of the company. And if we move up, more work satisfaction for people oriented engineers. So what I mean to say, like for me, why I did change from a pure coding guy to a technical marketing is like I feel like I'm more like a people oriented guy. I love to talk with people, to meet with new people, new faces, and to talk with them. And when I realized like my day-to-day activities are more like sitting in front of the computer and getting engineering discussion, I feel kind of like bit bored, since I'm been a people-oriented guy, but I didn't hate engineering though. So that's why when I decided to move towards the technical marketing, where we have fun of like talking to new people, we can discuss the engineering of future, what the market needs, and we can sell the things to them. We can have a bridge between of both. So next point is access to the entire life cycle database of documents of the product catalog. If you look at engineering, unless if you are not a product engineering manager or like a program manager, you don't have the access to the entire documentation of the product. For example, for a chip in a semiconductor area, you might be an engineer who be like only doing the analog. You might be only an engineer who been doing the digital or a verification or a backend, but you don't have the entire access to the full data set. What I mean is like a backend engineers don't know what is the entire front end is doing. What the front end engineers don't know what's been happening in the backend. So for me as an engineer, I do have the access to entire data. If I need to get the document, I'll get it. And and my duty is to like consolidate everything and make the product into a bunch. This is what the product. So I have the understanding of all the database, and I do have the access to everything. So there is no need to get a separate access to the database. So it is there, and you can view any product. And finally, the thing is like those who love traveling, you'll have more opportunity to travel rather than like an engineer. A typical engineer would be like you can fly across the globe and meet new customers for business. So you can move across the globe and see new customers. You can do, as I said, the term market scouting. You can do market scouting across the globe, and you can go for exhibitions, and you can showcase what all IPs you have in the technical meetings across the companies and attract customers, meet up with them, and it will be a good fun. And this is what some perks of being like a technical marketing position. So this is a nutshell which I need to conclude. And thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions, please convey. Simran, you want to take over?
Yes, thank you so much, Jipson. Thank you for the informative session. So we'll open the floor for Q&A. If anyone has any questions to ask Jipson. So by the way, Jipson, I have one question that I want to ask. So I found your webinar very interesting, and I was wondering that, like you mentioned, that engineers can make a very good marketing person as well because of our background and our technical skills. So how do we tell this to our hiring engineer, how hiring person, how do we convince them that we are the best person for this job, even though we are not in this field?
Yep. So if you look at when you are applying those positions, you might already have like few years of experience, might be 4 years or 5 years. So at that time, they might be looking. The job profile is like 5 years of experience in technical marketing. That's what usually the job profile which you apply will say, but you can apply to them and you can say, and you need to during the interview you need to prepare certain slides and take a product as an example, like any product. It can be a chip which you've been worked off, and take it as a product and showcase them, and give the highlights of the product, how you present to a customer. So you yourself need to act and enact like you are a technical marketing engineer, and hereby they know that you have some skills or soft skills of talking to people and make them convince. You can sell the product, you can handle the technical queries related to the product as a first go. So what I recommend is, like, rather than having a plain interview, you can have a set of PPT where you can take any product which has been working on your full life cycle of your engineering and showcase them. And no need to create many products. Take one product as an example and can ask them, are you interested for a PPT? And make sure that they're okay with it, and they'll fine. If they're okay, they'll proceed to the next round for sure.
Thank you. So it's more like showcasing yourself in a PPT style, that what you can do and what you are. So
Yes.
basically having a portfolio of yourself.
Yes, exactly. Because they might have always doubt we are like only pure engineers. We are not, because as in industry, engineers don't like to face customers. That's a typical stigma which has been happened, because engineers always want to do their work and they don't want to get the headache of customer queries. But for a technical market engineers, those who like people oriented guys, they do like to meet the people and they don't want to do that much engineering, and but no have the knowledge of engineering. For them, it's okay. So our duty as an in the interview to get them assured that, like, we are the other engineers who love to be face the people, and we are people oriented guy, and we can sell the chips, so we can sell the product. So in that
Okay.
perspective, it is okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So do we have any other questions? If not, then we'll end this session.
sure.
Thank you, everyone.
So
Have a
thank
great
you.
weekend.
Yeah,
Jipson, thank you for
yeah,
the session.
yeah. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye all.